Shabbat shalom to everyone on Facebook. Shabbat shalom to everyone on YouTube. A couple of announcements this morning. We just want to make sure, some people were confused yesterday why this man and woman were standing next to each other in a world of social distancing. We're married. We're the only people, the only staff in the chapel. And we're missing all of you. We love you and we miss you. And we wish you were here. But we can feel your presence. And we're going to begin our service in our Lev Shalem Sidur on page 99. 99, Elohai Neshama. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Elohai Neshama. Elohai, Elohai. Neshama, Neshama. Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi. Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Elohai, Elohai. Elohai, Elohai. Neshama, Neshama. Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi. Tehorahi, Tehorahi. I recently saw a vision on the news in which hospital workers, doctors, and nurses were clothed in their protective gear, and they put pictures outside the gear so that the patients would know who's on the inside. And what I want to encourage all of us to do right now, as I was walking, the block to shul, and I saw so many people wearing their masks, really encouraging all of us to look beyond the masks. Who's inside and who's yearning to speak? Whose pain do we need to hear and feel? And the ways in which we do that every single morning in our Jewish tradition is with our morning blessings. So dear God, see us beyond the masks. May we see each other. Please rise for our morning blessings, page 103. 103. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nasa v'ilachim b'yom v'layla. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzamo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben chori. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivri. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam avi sharumi. Yai lai lai, 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 lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam atir asuri. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokarat alamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam mechimitza begaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gevura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam anoten layah koah. Sing with us. Yai, 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 yai. Yai, 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 yai. Yai, 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 yai. Yai, 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 yai. We remain standing for Baruch She'amar, found on page 122. 122.
Baruch She'amar v'haya ha'olam Baruch Baruch Oseh v'reshit Baruch Omer v'yoseh Baruch Ozer v'kayem Baruch merachem al haaretz Baruch merachem al habriot Baruch meshalem sachar tov l're'av Baruch ha'ela'ad v'kayam ha'netzach Baruch hodeh u'matzil Baruch shemo yalalai 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 yalalai
We'll turn back to page 121. For those who are in mourning or observing yard site, I'll ask you to remain standing and recite with me the words on that page, the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah
Amen.
be'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon uvyomechon u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ulumei amaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu Le'ela minkol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Please be seated. We continue with Tzadikat Tamar, page 134.
Tzadikat Tamar yifrach, yifrach, Tzadikat Tamar yifrach. Tzadikat Tamar yifrach, yifrach, Tzadikat Tamar yifrach. Ke'erez balvanon yizke, ke'erez balvanon yizke, ke'erez balvanon yizke, yizke. Ke'erez balvanon yizke, ke'erez balvanon yizke, ke'erez balvanon yizke, yizke.
Singing God's Praise, page 141. Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. El Bekodsho. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Birkia Uzo.
Uzo. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Bigeburotav. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Kirov Gudlo.
Good Lord.
Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Take a shofar. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Benebele vechinor.
Vechinor.
Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Betohu machol. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Beminim ve'ugav.
Ve'ugav.
Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. B'tzil tzalei shama. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. B'tzil tzalei trua.
Trua.
Kol
Hanshama
Hallelujah. Kol hanshama Hallelujah. Kol hanshama Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Kol hanshama
Hallelujah. Shochanad begins on page 147.
Shochanad marom v'kadosh shemo.
Tochen ad marom v'kadosh shemo.
בפי ישרים תתהלל ובדברי צדיקים תתברך ובלשון חסידים תתרומם ובקרב קדושים תתקדש ומקלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל. להודו, להלל, לשבח, לפאר, לרומם, להדר, לברך, להלל ולקלס, על כל דברי שירות ותשבחות, דוד בן ישי עבדך משיחך, ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו. ברכות והודעות מעתה ועד עולם, ברוך אתה אדוני אל מלך גדול בתשבחות, ההודעות אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלך מלכי העולמים.
Please rise, middle of page 148, Chatzi Kaddish.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רהבה, ויעמד יברח ירטה וימליך מלכותי,
בחייכון וביומכון ובייתכו בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולם בעולמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. יהי ממקום ברכתה ושירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירם נעמה ויאמרו אמן. Baruch Hu is found on page 149.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, יוצרו בורא חושך, עושה שלום ובורא את הכל.
Please be seated. We continue on page 150.
אין כרך אדוני אלוהינו בעולם הזה, ואין זולתך מלכנו לחיי עולם הבא. אפס קודלך גורלנו למות המשיח, אין דומה לך מושיענו לתחיית המתים.
El Adon, page 151.
אל אדון על כל המעשים, ברוך ומבורך בפי כל נשמה, גדול וטובו מלא עולם, דעת ותבונה סובבין אותו. המיכאל חיות הקודש, נהדר בכבוד על המרכבה, זכות ומישור לפני כיסו, חסד ורחמים לפני כבודו, טובים מאורו שברא אלוהינו, יצרם בדעת ובינה ומשכל, כוח וגבורה נתן להם, להיות מושלים בקרב תבל, ובהם זיו ופיקים נוגה, נאה זיווה בכל העולם, שמחים בצאתם וששים בבואם, עושים בהם הרצון קונם, פאר בכבוד נענים לשמו, זולה ורינה לזכר מלכותו, קרא לשמש ויזרח אורה, והדגים צורת הבנה, שבח נונים לו, כל צבא מרום, תפארת וגדולה, סרפים ואופנים וחיות הקודש, יאי לה 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 לה, יאי לה 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 לה, יאי לה 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 לה, לה 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 לה, יאי לה לה לה, יאי לה 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 לה, יאי לה 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 לה, יאי לה לה לה, Shabbat mikol hamaasim.
We continue on page 153.
Yiparach Sareinu Malkinu Goleinu. Kulam Moavim, Kulam Berurim, Kilam Giborim, V'cholam Osim Be'ema Uvira Haaretzon Konam, V'cholam Podechim V'hem B'Gdusha V'Torah B'Shra V'Zimra, U'Marachim U'Mshabachim Parim Maritzim U'Magdishim U'Mahamlichim, Et Shem Ha'el HaMelech HaGadol V'HaGibor V'HaNorah Kadoshu, V'cholam P'kablim Aleihem Ol Malchus Shamayim Zeh Mizeh, V'nonim reshut zela zela gdish shel saman achad ruach v'safa v'ravnim ha'kedosha kulam ke'achad onim v'omrim b'hira kadosh 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 Adonai Tzevaot melech kol haaretz kevodo v'ofanim chayot hakodesh berash gadol Berash gadol min asinu ha'tzirafim v'yuhu matam meshabachim v'yomerim
Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimekomo. We're found last two lines at the bottom of page 153. Or Chadash Al Tzion Tayir. Or Chadash Al Tzion Tayir. V'nizkeh kulanu me'era le'oro. Or Chadash Al Tzion Tayir. V'nizkeh kulanu me'era le'oro. Baruch Atah Adonai Yosef. We're found on page 154. Let's continue in the middle of that page. As we gather our tzitzit in preparation for the Shema. Shema is found on page 155. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadbarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlachtecha v'derech uv'shochpecha uvkumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha ve'hayu letotafot beinenecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha. Continue the next two paragraphs of the Shema on our own. We're found on page 156. Adonai Elohechem emet. L'dor v'dor kayam u'shmo kayam v'chiso nachon u'malchuto v'emunato la'ad kayamet. Page 157. Emet shatahu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Malkeinu Melech Avoteinu Goalenu Goel Avoteinu Yotzreinu Tzur Yeshuateinu Hodenu Matzilenu Me'olam Shemecha Ein Elohim Zulatecha.
Ezrat Avoteinu Atahu Me'olam.
We're found in the middle of page 158. Shabbat HaGadol. We are on the Shabbat just preceding Passover. This is certainly a time in which we are witnessing miracles every single day, and those cannot go unmentioned or unrecognized. Let's hold on to the miracles that we see, small and large. Middle of page 158. Ichamocha.
Ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha, nehedar b'kodesh, Torah te'imot sefer shira chadasha, shivhu gehulim, לשמחה שפתיים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
Please rise, bottom of page 158, Sur Yisrael.
Sur Israel, Uma Be'ezrat Yisrael, Uftechinuecha, Yehuda ve'Yisrael, Lo Aleinu, Adonai Tzvaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai, Kal Yisrael.
The Shabbat morning Amidah, for which we remain standing, is found on page 159.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu
Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot, U'memi Goel, Libnei B'neihem, L'ma'at Shemo,
Ve'yahava
Melech Ozer,
V'alkeinu Moshiach U'Magin
Baruch atah Adonai,
Magin Avraham U'Pokei Tzara
Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Metim atah,
Rav Lehoshia Mashiv
Haruach U'Morid Hagashem, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayei Metim Berachamim Rabim,
Somech
Noflim Merofeh Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato Mishenei Abar, Michamocha
B'Hagiburo
Tumito Melech, Melech Memit U'Mechayeh U'Matzmiach Yeshua.
V'nemanat Ha'achayot Meitim Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei HaMeitim
Page 161, Kedusha.
מקדש שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום הכתוב היה נביאך וכהרזל זה ויאמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך הארץ כבודו אז בקול רעש גדול אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול אז בקול רעש גדול אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול מתנשאים לעומת צרפים מתנשאים לעומת צרפים לעומתם ברוך יאמרו ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו
מחכים אנחנו לך,
איי, 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 מתי תמלוך בציון בקרוב בימינו לעולם ועד תשקוט
תתגדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך לדור ודור לדור ודור ולנצח נצח נצחים
עינינו
תראנה
תראנה מלכותך
הדבר האמור בשירי עוזך
על ידי דוד משיח צדקך ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהי ציון לדור ודור הללויה לדור ודור
לדור ודור
לדור ודור
לדור ודור נגיד גם לך
לדור ודור
לדור ודור
לדור ודור
לדור ודור
נגיד God לך ולנצח נצחים ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד
לדור ודור לדור ודור לדור ודור נגיד God לך לדור ודור לדור ודור נגיד God לך
כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה לה 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 ברוך אתה אדוני האוהל הקדוש.
Please take this time for your silent private prayer. Continues in the Siddur on page 162 through page 166. Please take your time.
After the Amidah, we always sing a song of peace, Oseh Shalom. And we take different melodies to sing this based on what's happening in the world. And yesterday, the world lost a music giant, Bill Withers, who wrote one of the most popular songs around throughout the generations now, Lean on Me. The words in English, I think, fit this moment for a prayer for peace. So please sing with us, Oseh Shalom.
Also, just give a little forgiveness. We kind of did this on the fly, so we're going to do the best we possibly can.
There's only 2 of us in the room, but hopefully many watching.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. Sing with us. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Oh, say shalom, bimromav, huya asay. Shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Again, oh, say shalom, bimromav, huya asay. Shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. It won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Oh, say shalom, bimromav, huya asay. Shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill all of your needs that you won't lend. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Oh, say shalom, bimromav, huya asay. Shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. One more time.
Oh, say
Shalom, bimromav, huya asay. Shalom. Want to hear you? Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. May the peace in the heavens be reflected here on earth. We hope you are feeling peace in your hearts, no matter where you are, isolated together. Just know that we are wishing peace for each and every one of you. Oh, say shalom. We continue in our service with Kaddish Shalem, page 167. Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the taking out of our Sefer Torah this morning. We are reading one Aliyah this morning and including all of you. Ein Kamocha is found on page 168.
Ein kamocha
Please rise.
Elohim Adonai, Ein kemaasecha, Malchutecha malechut kol olamim, Umemshaltecha bechol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch, le'olam va'oed. Adonai oz li'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Avarachamim eitiv amirtzon ka'et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chomot Melech El Ram Benisa, Adon Olam. Vayomer Moshe, Uma Adonai, Yafutzu Oimecha, Yanusu Misanecha Mipanecha, Imitzion Tetzei Torah, Imitzion Tetzei Torah, Udevar Adonai, Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'kedushato.
Ribono Shel Olam, Master of the universe. On this Shabbat Hagadol, on this Shabbat before Pesach, may we learn how to reframe this moment. Many of us feel alone and fearful, not unlike the Jews sitting around their Seder table at the first Seder night, trembling with the unknown lurking outside their doors. Instill within us the bravery of our ancestors to push forward, to be strong, to have faith. God, let us do our part in bringing redemption. And dear God, may it come soon. And let us all say, Amen. Ready? I'll do it. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadol Adonai, Uderotecha Shemo Yachdav.
Echad Adonai Agedu, Lave Agevu, Rave Asiferet, Vehanetzav, Vehahor. Yehovah Shamayim U'Ba'aretz, Yehovah Shamayim U'Ba'aretz, Adonai Hamalacha ve'aminaseh v'chol erosh. You may be seated. We're missing an ark opener, so I'm going to do that. I believe there is a link found on the website.
It should be found on the website for our Torah reading. What? Okay, hold on one second, everybody. If you have the 8 sign Chumash at home, we're found on page 613. Page 613, Parshat Tzav,
There's also a link.
chapter 6, verse 1.
We believe there's also a link on the Sinai Temple website, either on the Siddur page or somewhere close by that you can also follow. Just a word of Torah before from Parshat Tzav. We have traffic control here. Parshat Tzav. You probably hear the word tzav and the word mitzvah, meaning commandment, or as we often translate it, as good deed. And there are many different sacrifices, as we say every week now in the book of Vayikra, of Leviticus, different sacrifices that are to be brought to the temple. A couple of weeks ago on my Mitzvah of the Week class, I spoke about the mincha offering, one of the only offerings that is not of an animal, but rather a flower of somebody's prized possession. But this morning, for just a moment, I want to speak about the Todah offering. It's an offering of thanks. I know around our dinner table at Thanksgiving, we ask What are you grateful for? What are you thankful for? But I think over these last few weeks, that has not just become a Thanksgiving tradition, but rather a weekly tradition. And when the Talmud discusses the Todah offering and offering of thanks, there are several people that the Talmud tells us needs to bring this offering of thanks. The four type of people that need to bring a Todah offering to the temple is one who sails on the seas, those who travel through the deserts, the sick who are cured, and the prisoners who are freed. And Rav Kook, the first Ashkenazic chief rabbi of what was then Palestine, of Israel, looks at those four and wonders, why do the rabbis tell us it is those four people who need to bring a Todah offering, an offering of thanks? First, he says that when you bring a Todah offering, it will lead to shalom, it will lead to peace. But he also looks at those four categories, and he explains them in this way. He says those four categories are different types of people that crossed different boundaries. The type of people that cross different boundaries. And which boundaries are they? He says they are natural boundaries, societal boundaries, physical boundaries, and moral boundaries. Natural, societal, physical, and moral boundaries. And I know during these last several weeks, and God knows how many more weeks to come, we are both crossing boundaries and we are putting boundaries up. And the question is, do we have that ability to offer that Todah offering? And so this morning, as we follow along for one Aliyah, learning more about the korbanot, the sacrifices that draw us close, if you're sitting with your family at home, perhaps enjoying a cup of coffee, ask yourselves, which Todah offering will you bring this week via our virtual screen? Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We are going to ask everyone to please join with us in the Aliyah, so you can feel free to stand where you are. We're also, it's okay. Going to give them a moment to get to the right place. And with that, what I'm excited about is that many of you have been writing to us about different smachot that's been happening. We'll share some of the smachot that's happened in our community at the end of the service, so keep joining in. But I'm also excited to announce that Nathan Sadat and Danielle Kohanzadeh, now Sadat, got married last Friday at the start of Shabbat on March 27th, so just prior to Shabbat. They very much wanted to be here for an Aliyah, as is the custom to have an Aliyah after their wedding. And so wherever you're at home, Nathan and Danielle, I'm going to ask you also to please rise with our congregation and join with our community of virtual and spiritual watchers as we join in the Aliyah together. And then I'll offer you a blessing after the Torah reading.
You got it.
Got it?
Yes.
You ready, everyone? I'm not exactly sure what it looks like on your screen, but you're going to do the best with me. Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai Moshe limor tzavet tarom be'apanav limor zo Torah ta'olah hi haolam. Matal mizbeach kol halayla ad haboker. Yesh hamizbeach tukad bo lavash hakohen mido bahad. Umichasei bahad yobashal besaro ve'rim et hadeshen asher tochal ha'esh. Et haolam mizbeach v'samo etzel hamizbeach. ופשט בגדיו ולבש בגדים אחרים והוציא את הדשן מחוץ למחנה אל מקום טהור והאש על המזבח תוקד בו לא תכפה ויער עליה הכהן עצים בבוקר וירח עליה העולה והקטיר עליה חלבי השלמים אש תמיד תוקד על המזבח לא תכפה וזאת תורת המנחה הקרב אותה בני אהרון לפני אדוני על פני המזבח והרים ממנו בקופסאו מסולת המנחה ומשמונה ואכל לבנה אשר למנחה והקטיר המזבח ריח ניחוח אז קראתה לאדוני הנותרת ממנה ויאכלו אהרון ובניו מצות תאכל במקום קדוש וחצר או מועד יאכלוה, לא תהפך חמץ חלקם, נתתי אותה מאישי, קודש קדושים היא כחתם וכאשם, כל זכר בבני אהרון יאכלנה כל מדורותיכם, מאישי אדוני, כל אשר ייגע בהם יהי קדש.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
So I'm going to do a quick first Mishabera for Daniela bat Yaakov HaKohen v'Shirley v'Natan ben Goel be'Ela, our bride and our groom. So I hope you're still standing so that we can wish Danielle and Nathan a mazel tov. Mishaberach, pretend you're right in front of me. You are right in front of me. Mishaberach avotenu Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. Hu yibarech hechatan Natan ben Goel ve'Ela, ve'et hakala Daniela bat Yaakov hakohen v'Shirley, asher shekansu lachupa ve'alu hayom lichod hamakom v'lichod haTorah v'lichod haShabbat. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yadrichem libnot bayit b'Yisrael asher bo yishkenu ahava v'yachava v'shalom v're'ut v'yishlach bracha v'hatzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yedehem v'nomar Amen. Sure, we bless Nathan and Danielle with happiness and peace and love. Mazel tov from us to you.
Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov. Yehelanu, 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 Olechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, Olechol Yisrael. David Melech Yisrael. Bye Bekayam, David Melech Israel. Bye Bekayam. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. We are going to do a Misha Berach Lecholim, a prayer of healing for those who are ill within our congregational family. I will get that. And within the community abroad. Oh, okay. Then let me do that 1 second.
I have it.
Many of you also have been emailing us asking for prayers in particular for your daughters and sons and husbands and wives. I'm going to miss all the different iterations of relatives, but those who are medical workers who are basically out on the front lines. And so we hope that you will keep all of those people in your prayers at this very moment, as well as we pray Mishaberach. Mishaberach avotenu Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, Hu yivarech v'yirapeh et kol hacholim b'kila kedosha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yimaleh rachamim alehem, lachazikam l'rapotam, v'yishlach lahem meher refuah shlema min hashamayim, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf, betoch she'ar cholei Yisrael Shabbat hi mlizok rufa karavo lavo, hashta b'agav bizman kariv v'nomar, Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bring blessing and healing to Josh Williams, Lourdes Bat Esperanza Luna Halevi, Esrat Harunian, Nahum Ben Malka, Rachalea Bat Chana Chuna, Eva Keleman, Menashe Ben Shajan Sarah, Michael Ben Tova Eliyahu, Shoshana Bat Chana Chaya Ariel, Dylan Shear, Gila Nisan Bat Mazel, Chaim Bat Sarah, and all those who are currently ill within our extended communities. May God mercifully restore them to health and vigor, granting them physical and spiritual well-being together with all others who are ill. And let us say, Amen. Amen. Let's get everyone to please rise. Ask everyone to please rise. We're found on page 174. Where are you going to go? Okay. וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה.
עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותומכי המאושר. עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותומכי המאושר. דרכיה דרכי נועם בכל נתיבותיה שלום. דרכיה דרכי נועם בכל נתיבותיה שלום. Ashivenu
Hashem, Hashem Alecha,
Venashuva Kadesh Yameinu Keke.
Okay, you already know we're missing all of our Gabayim. What? Okay, I'm not going to name every single person right now, but you know that you are deeply, deeply missed. We miss all of you. I just want to share a short, I hope short, Shabbat message with all of you this morning, because when I was thinking about what the Jewish people, what we're known for the cultivation of intelligence, of soulful introspection. We're known for study, for deeply analyzing texts. But what I think sometimes we forget what the Jewish people have been known for centuries. And I want to mention it in particular on the Shabbat Hagadol, on this Passover before Shabbat, is that sometimes we forget that we are the bearers of those who cultivate deep sources of courage. In Hebrew, the term is ometz lev, the strengthening of one's heart. That in the darkest of times, the Jewish people have been known to look within and be able to instill within us this idea of strengthening our hearts, in which we often don't have the inspiration to move one foot forward beyond the next. And so I just want to speak about that idea of how do you cultivate courage? So I've been reading this really interesting book called The Power of Moments by Chip and Dan Heath. They're New York Times bestsellers, The Power of Moments. And listen to the question they ask. They ask the question, what was the most defining moment in your life? Think about that. The most defining moment in your life. And what they say is that, try to think of that moment. Our first answer is usually about others, meaning the most defining moment in my life is when I got married to my soulmate, or the most defining moment in my life is when I had my child, or perhaps the most defining moment is when I watched my brother graduate from law school. It's usually about others. But then when you start to think deeper, or when they push you rather, no, what's your most defining moment? Then you start to pinpoint moments of courage. Well, my most defining moment is when I used my voice to stand up for someone else. Or my most defining moment is when I got up in front of a crowd and I didn't want to say a word, but somehow I got up there and I did it anyway. Or my most defining moment is when I was most afraid, I decided to move forward with courage. But what they remind us is that those pivotal defining moments, they aren't easy. In fact, they can be incredibly difficult. But here's the phrase I love. They say that courage is contagious. Listen to that again. Courage is contagious, meaning when you see someone else enact some kind of defining moment, some kind of act of bravery, it instills within you the want and the need to be courageous too. And you don't have to look around right now to see moments of courage, although we are seeing them every single day. You can look at our history. I want you to remember when Bnei Yisrael was standing, looking over the Sea of Reeds, it had yet to split. And what the Talmud and the Midrash says is that they needed someone, just one person, to step forward with that ometz lev, that strength in heart to show that this moment was possible. So Nachshon, Nachshon decided to walk through the waters. And the waters began to creep up. Can you imagine the fear that was coursing through his veins, creeping up to his knees and to his stomach and finally to his neck? And they say to his nostrils. And it was only then when the sea split and the people were able to walk through the path to freedom. Ometz lev, the strengthening of heart. That courage is contagious. Look to Nachshon in order to inspire your own veins of courage to burst open. I love this quote by Mark Twain. Mark Twain says that courage is resistance to fear. Courage is mastery of fear, but courage is an absence of fear. Fear is there. We just need to master it. We just need to resist it. We have to look to others' acts of courage to inspire our own. And so I beg each and every one of you, as you are feeling alone, as you're feeling scared, look at your heart. Strengthen your heart. Look at the acts of others to embolden your spirit. Ometz lev. We look to your acts to inspire our own. Take courage. Be brave. We're watching, and we can be courageous together. Shabbat shalom. Before we put the Torah away and move on to our Musaf service, we're found on page 177. 177, a prayer for our country. You want me to hold it? Okay. Our God and God of our ancestors, with mercy accept our prayer on behalf of our country and its government. Pour out your blessing upon this land, upon its inhabitants, upon its leaders, its judges, officers, and officials who faithfully devote themselves to the needs of the public. Help them understand the rules of justice you have decreed, so that peace and security, happiness and freedom will never depart from our land. Next page. We continue on page 178, a prayer for the state of Israel. Oh, okay.
Avinu,
Avinu, Shabbat Shamayim,
Tzur Yisrael v'go'alo.
Avinu, Avinu, Shabbat Shamayim,
Tzur Yisrael v'go'alo.
Avinu Shabbat Shamayim, stronghold and redeemer of the people Israel. Bless the state of Israel that it may be the beginning of our redemption. Shield it with your love. Spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them. Crown their efforts with triumph. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy. And as a community around the world, let us say, Amen.
Avinu,
Avinu, Shabbat Shamayim,
Tzur Yisrael
Go'alo.
v'go'alo.
Avinu, Avinu, Shabbat Shamayim.
Tzur Yisrael v'go'alo.
Please rise if you're not already. Page 183. Ya hallelu et Shem Adonai, ki niskab Shemo levado.
Odo alerech v'shamayim v'yarech keren le'ahabo v'hila lechol atzidav b'nei Yisrael am kirovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. So we are going to have a very special treat this morning and going forward, as Cantor Feldman in just one moment will be joining us for Musaf. If you're on Facebook, we're going to ask you to please go to youtube.com/Sinai Temple Presents, as youtube.com/Sinai Temple Presents, and we are streaming there as we're going to hand over our Musaf service to Cantor Feldman, and after Musaf, Rabbi Wolpe will be delivering the sermon himself. We'll see you after the sermon.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Sherman. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Guzik, and Shabbat Shalom to everyone out there in YouTube land, in your own homes. We pray that you are at home safely, enjoying Shabbat with your immediate family too. So we are going to begin our Musaf service on page 184. Once again, page 184 in your Sidur Lev Shalem, the red Sidur Sim Shalem. We begin with Chatzi Kaddish. Please rise.
יתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה קילותי, בימליך מלכותי, בחיי חון ובמחול ובחי לכל בית ישראל, ועגלה בזמן קריב והימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך, וישתבח, ויתפאר, ויתרומה, מתרסה, ויתהדר, ויתעלה, ויתלש, מריקודשה, בריחו ליל מכל בכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ולחמתה, דבירה ביומה והימרו. Amen.
Our Musaf Amidah begins on page 185, and today we are blessed to have Mr. Ariel Cohen, not on the regular organ in the main sanctuary, but to have him virtually via tracks. We begin with Avot and Gvarot, pages 185 through 186.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Vehanora El Elyon גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ופוקד מושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני לחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו משעיני העפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך בימית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים.
We continue on page 187, 187 for our Musaf Kedusha.
נריצך ונדישך כסוד שיח שרפי קודש המקדישים שמך בקודש הכתוב וכרז ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. כבודו מלא עולם, כבודו מלא מלא עולם, משרתיו ושונים, שונים זה לזה. היה מקום כבודו, היה מקום כבודו, לעומתם, לעומתם, ברוך יאמרו. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומו הוא יפן ברחמים ויחונם המייחדים שמו. ערב בבוקר בכל יום תמיד.
Again, on page 187. Once again, page 187 for our Kedusha. Please remain standing, page 187.
נריצך ונדישך כסוד שיח שרפי קודש. אמרתי שמך בקודש, הכתוב על יד נביאך וכרז ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. כבודו מלא עולם, כבודו מלא מלא עולם, משרתיו ושונים, שונים זה לזה. היה מקום כבודו, היה מקום כבודו, לעומתם, לעומתם, ברוך יאמרו. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומו הוא יפן ברחמים ויחונם המייחדים שמו. ערב בבוקר בכל יום תמיד shamayim ve'ava shema merim shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Hu Eloheinu Hu Avinu Hu Malkeinu Hu Moshienu Vehu Yashmienu Rachamav Shenit Shenit Le'enei kol chai Liot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Uvediverei kol shecha katuv leimor Yimloch Adonai le'olam Elohai Tzihon Ledor vador Hallelujah 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 Ledor vador Ledor vador Ledor vador Nagid God elecha U'netzach netzachim U'netzach netzachim Kedushat Chanatish Ledor vador Ledor vador Ledor vador Nagid God lecha U'netzach netzachim U'netzach netzachim Kedushat Chanatish V'shivchacha Eloheinu Mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed Ki el melech gadol V'kadosh ata Ledor vador Ledor vador Ledor vador Nagid God elecha U'lenetzach netzachim U'lenetzach netzachim Kedushat Chanatish Baruch atah Adonai HaKadosh
We continue praying the remainder of our Amidah privately, pages 188 through 192, in Hebrew, in English, or your own private meditations. Page 188 through 192. If you're still praying your Amidah, please continue at your own pace. We turn ahead or scroll down to page 203 as our service continues with Kaddish Shalem, page 203.
יתקדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, מעלמא דברה קירותי במליך מלכותי, בחיי חון ובמכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב וימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם לעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשה, בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה דוד עממה וימרו, Amen. תתקבל צרודון ולכל כל ישראל, כל תם ובוני בשמי וימרו. אמן. יהי שלום רב מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו על כל ישראל וימרו. אמן. עושה שלום במרומה, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Wolpe.
You know the story about the rabbi who sees in the front row that a man is sleeping next to his wife during the sermon. And so he comes down from the pulpit and he goes over to the wife and he says, "Would you please wake your husband up?" And she says, "Rabbi, you put him to sleep, you wake him up." And the truth is, I don't know right now who I'm putting to sleep. Maybe you, by the way. I'm not so happy with how you look at the moment. But it also, that joke, is a sort of salutary reminder to rabbis that sermons are not always as powerful and effective as we might imagine to ourselves. It's like what Auden said about poetry in his obituary for the Irish poet Yeats. He said, "Poetry makes nothing happen." And sometimes you think sermons might make nothing happen. But the sermon that I'm about to give, although it might make nothing happen, could save lives. And that's why I'm giving it. Because if the right person hears it in the right way, it really could save lives. And this has to do with Pesach. Pesach, as you know, is our family holiday. Pesach is the time when we gather. Our memories of Pesach as we get older are memories, if we are lucky, of people gathered around the table, celebrating, singing, eating, drinking, eating, and drinking, and celebrating. That's what Pesach is. And the idea that we can't have a Pesach like that is very painful. It is even true that some people will be celebrating Pesach alone. And that's a very painful and difficult thing to imagine. And therefore, it is my understanding that there are some people in our community who are going to have a Pesach Seder with lots of people in spite of the fact that they've been instructed not to. It is to them primarily that I am speaking now. I understand, I really do, very deeply, why you want your family around during the Seder, why you want to invite people into your house, why you don't want the Seder to be an isolating experience or an electronic experience, because as you may know, a number of rabbis, including many Orthodox rabbis, both here and in Israel, have permitted Zoom for the Seder for this 1 year in what is called a Shat Hadchak, which means a time of emergency. And you don't want that, and I understand it. But I want you to know that anybody who invites people over to the Seder this year is violating Jewish law in the most serious way. And it's easy to say to oneself, we'll be fine. And you might be. But here are the crucial facts that we all have to keep in mind. And they are three. One is that people can transmit the virus who are not symptomatic. So you can have someone come over to your home who feels as well as I do now, and yet they're actually going to transmit the virus to someone else through speaking, through touching, through a sneeze, through a cough. Because we sometimes sneeze and cough when we feel okay, too. That's the second important fact to know, is that the aerosolization, that is the ability to catch the virus from somebody who's speaking to you nearby, seems real. And even though there is still some scientific question about the degree and the length and the duration and all of that, it is pretty clear that you can catch the virus from somebody from talking to them. And here's the third fact. Older people especially are vulnerable. So if you have someone to your Seder who is young and fine, and someone else who is old, their grandparent, or you, the consequences could be devastating. And if that happens, you will not be able to forgive yourself. And it is so much better to avoid the consequence than to regret it. In the story of Pesach, we read that in Egypt, there was no house in which there was not someone who had died. Now, it is true in our own case that the vast majority of people who get this virus will live, and most of them, in fact, will do well. That's at least the current scientific finding. But we don't know who won't do well. And it is not true that only older people are suffering. Some younger people have gotten sick and some younger people have died. When we talk about underlying conditions, after all, first of all, we don't know if only underlying conditions make you sick. And second, we don't know who has an underlying condition. A lot of them have never been diagnosed. This is not the year to be a hero. This is the year to be a little afraid. This is the year to allow your intelligence and your concern and your empathy to override your ego. This is the time. Again and again, we have seen that when people were too late to suggest quarantining, as happened in Florida, that the results were the rapid spread of the virus. It is pretty simple. You don't want to have people to your Pesach Seder. You don't want to open the door to anything except Elijah. I know that this will require for some of you a last-minute change of plans, and it will be difficult, and you might even feel embarrassed to say, you know what, we changed our mind. I really understand that. But it is much better to be embarrassed now than to be devastated later. So I'm asking you, please, pay attention to what the Orthodox Council of Rabbis in Bergen County said, which is that it is forbidden to invite people to your Seder who don't live in your home. That we are not allowed to take that chance with our own lives or with other people's lives, because you are imperiling other people who are there. This year, do it online. This year, if you need to, do it alone. It is better to be sad than to be sad and sick. It is better to be smart than to have made a decision that will haunt you the rest of your days. This is not a sermon any rabbi wants to give. But as I said at the beginning, sometimes sermons can make a difference. And if there is anything I can do to prevail upon you, not to have people in your home for this Pesach, then I plead with you, don't do it. Don't take that chance. Don't forget that Pesach is about the protection, ultimately, of the Jewish people. It's your turn to protect the people in your life, to preserve them, to help save them. For this Pesach, everybody stay home, so that next Pesach, we will all be here to celebrate together. Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, everyone. Yasher Koach to Rabbi Wolpe, and just a reminder that if you'd like to join us for our Sinai Temple's virtual Seder, you can join the Guzik Sherman family on Wednesday evening at 6:15 p.m. Wednesday evening at 6:15 p.m. Once again, youtube.com/Sinai Temple Presents. We very much look forward to spending our Seder with all of you. With that, I'll ask you to please rise for Aleinu. We're found on page 205. 205.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol latei gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanu lo yeharatzon velo samanu k'mishpachot adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem vegor aleinu kechol hamonam anachnu korim umishtachavim Odim Lifnei Melech Malchei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. We recall with affection those who no longer walk this earth, grateful to God for the gift of their lives, for their sweet companionship, and for their cherished memories which endure. May God comfort all who mourn. The Shabbat, we recall the recent passing of Hagnazar Faranek, grandfather of Dr. Sarah Farzan, Dr. Tanaz Daniliafar, and Mrs. Neda Emrani, great-grandfather of Sophia and Asher Kamrava, Aiden Charlotte, and Adam Daniliafar. We recall the passing of Alec Moss, grandfather of Sarah Klinger, great-grandfather of Maya and Solly Manor. We recall the passing of Howard Siegman, husband of Lilo Lang Siegman of blessed memory, brother of Joe Siegman. We recall the passing of Abraham Begin, husband of Anna Begin, father of Yaakov Begin of blessed memory, Josh Begin, Judy Begin, Rebecca Begin, Debbie Begin, and Dove Begin of blessed memory, grandfather of Sarah Begin Buchanan. We also recall the Yortzites will be observed during this coming week in the Sinai Temple community. Seymour Abyss, Nathan Adelson, Heshmat Asil, Ellie Ati, Lula Mae Banks, Elliot Becker, Yaakov Begin, Paul Berenbaum, Esther Bergstein, Tedre Berkowitz, Louis Berman, Ita Blanc, Ben Bloom, Edith Blumenfeld, Herman Boren, Timur Boramond, Dina Bronstein, Mandel Brott, Patricia Ann Byrne, Ed Capeluto, Moshe Kleiman, Leah Croft, Stephanie Donna Schrader, Benjamin Danziger, Mozafar Dardashti, Arlette Darwish, Betty Singer Dick, Fanny Dishman, Faye Edelman Dome, Mario Driz, Joseph Dim, David Edry, Sion El Ganyan, Pauline Eliashar, Shimon Eli, Amir Elihu, David Eslamboli, Charles Felgenberg, Salome S. Field, Molly Feinerman, Max Fink, Leo Frankenstein, Nathan Franklin, Louis Fries, Helen Gepner Chernov, Donald Gershbach, Heshmat Gatan, Jerome Goldenberg, Jake Gordon, Paul Green, Ruth Green, William Groden, Harris Gruberman, Leo Gutentag, Rahula Halimi, Turan Shanasa Hekmat, Muriel Honig, Tamar Ilanit, Sigmund Isaacs, Sarah Jacobson, Larry Jacobson, Heshmak Kashani, Dina Katz, Khosrow Kazai, Maluk Koramian, Adele Kitchavin, Thomas Kival, Samuel Klein, Leon Noble, Ann Kopman, Norman Kotliski, Gladys Kreitenberg, Arthur Kritzer, Lynette Kurtzman, Edward Lane, Yetta Letterman, Uzi Legerman, Florence Leonard, Marvin Stanley Lessner, Rachel Levitt, Seymour Litch, Richard Lininger, Daniel Lohm, Reba Malamed, Herzl Malamed, Henny Midgen, Ida Milner, Jacob Maharuni, Dorothy Nathanson, Raheem Nazarian, Ruth Netcher, Sylvia Novak, Marjorie Oswald, Sophia Platt, Toria Purat, Sarah Nazarian, George Prudowski, Manny Resnick, Don Rickles, Sam Rosen, Ida Russ, Davud Sadiq, Eli Sassouni, Marissa Schartz, George Schneider, Susan Schur, Stuart Snyder, Aziz Shadgu, Louis Shapiro, Sarah Shore, Mansour Sufer, Nabi Taheri, Gussie Warshaw, Max Weintraub, Paula Wolfson, Rachel Yagob Zadagan. We ask those in mourning or observing a yahrzeit to please rise on page 207 to sanctify God's holy name in the words of the mourner's Kaddish, page 207. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'alma divarach yir'utei v'yamlich malchutei, V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kariv yimaru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam olomei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpawar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yit'ale v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Da'amiram b'yalma v'imaru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imaru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav. U'ya'asei shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imaru amen. May God who brings peace unto heavens bring peace unto all those who mourn. And let us all say, amen. In just a few moments, we're going to have our concluding prayers. First, we have some wonderful announcements and acknowledgments, and then Cantor Feldman shortly will lead us in Adon Olam, and then we will do the blessings here in the chapel before you can enjoy your scrumptious lunch at home.
Okay.
You're first.
Okay, great. So hi, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. For those that don't know us, Rabbi Guzik and Rabbi Sherman, we're so happy to be with you this morning. Some great announcements. First of all, happy birthday to Alan Kamrava, who's one of our board members. Happy birthday, Alan. And we found out about two births in our community. We would like to announce the birth of Dylan Malay Carney to Allison and Michael Carney, granddaughter to Jason and Lori Kahan, Mazel Tov. We'd also like to announce the birth of Evan Lewis Sherman, son of Aaron and Daniel Sherman, and grandson to Ron and Ronna Spiegel.
Mazel tov.
We just wish all of you a mazel tov, and it's wonderful to hear of the sparks of light within the darkness. And we wanted to sing for all of you, Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'hegeyanu lazman hazeh. Amen.
Praised are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who gives us life, who sustains us, and brings us to these incredible moments of life. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen. We just want to bring you greetings and regards from our president, Jamie Berman, and the entire board of directors, who wish you a Shabbat Shalom. We bring you greetings from the entire clergy, from everyone here at Sinai Temple, from Howard Lesner, our executive director. We all wish you were here. We miss you and we love you, and we look forward to the moments in which we get a chance to see you in person.
Our Seder this Thursday, Rabbi Guzik, louder, please. Sorry, Wednesday night, 6:15 p.m. as Rabbi Wolpe mentioned on Zoom. That'll be the Sinai Temple Seder Zoom from our home. It'll just be our immediate family, Rabbi Guzik, myself, and our 3 children. But hopefully many of you will join us. The Zoom link, I believe, already went out. And also services on the first day of Passover, 9:30 a.m. right here on these stations on youtube.com/Sinai Temple Presents. There will be the special blessing of Tal for Dew, Rabbi Wolpe's message, his sermon, also on this platform of Zoom and YouTube.
Just realizing a lot of you have been asking about using various Haggadot and which Haggadah you want to use at your Seder. If you look at our website, we list a few different Haggadot, but the Haggadah that we are going to be using is a different night, correct?
Yes.
A different night. You can find the PDF, exactly the pages, how we will use them on our website. We've also given you a song supplement that we use at our family Seders. So I hope that you will follow along there too. And additionally, we put on a fun supplemental Haggadah for children. We won't be going through that, but that's also a fun activity for those who have kids at their Seder. If you want to engage them, feel free to go through that resource as well. With that,
we're gonna turn back to Cantor Feldman for a beautiful Adon Olam.
Shabbat Shalom,
And then
everyone.
we'll come back for our blessings.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We turn ahead in our Sidurim to page 211 for Adon Olam. And this week we will do it to a familiar tune, to Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah.
Sheni
Beautiful.
Good luck to you guys as well. Shabbat shalom.
Stay on.
I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. Everyone, please rise for Kiddush. Al ken barach Adonai et yom haShabbat v'yikadshehu savri.
Chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Cantor, can you tell me how to do this? You always teach the B'nai Mitzvah well.
Yeah, right over left, left over right, back, and speak loud.
Perfect, I know. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz.
Amen.
Amen.
We learned from last time.
Ribbono shel olam, Master of the universe, remind us how to cultivate ometz lev, a strengthening of heart. In these times of darkness and these times of fear, let us remember, Adonai oz le'amo yiten. Dear God, you give us strength, grant us peace, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat shalom, Cantor.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.